Hey, ladies and gents, and welcome to our pre-E3 coverage for E3 2018. Today we're tackling Microsoft. I have Dom with me as always.
Microsoft today.
We don't have Jordan, unfortunately. He's still dealing with moving and all that stuff, so no Jordan for this E3 predictions podcast. But we do have Alex Van Aken. How's it going, Alex?
Hey guys, what's up?
It's going good. We had you on the podcast, so people should be familiar with you by now. Obviously, Alex is from OK Beast. We're going to be tackling Microsoft. This is, for me personally, I don't know for you guys, this is the most interesting of the conferences because it's so long. We already know it's 2 hours in terms of blocking. Whether they go 2 hours or not, we don't know. But there's just so much unknown with Xbox, and there's a lot of optimism. I think it's easy to be like, oh, Xbox doesn't have games or Xbox this. I'm actually on the opposite end. I'm very optimistic for this conference because there's a lot of unknowns and there's a lot of stuff that can surprise us. And Phil Spencer is somebody I really believe in terms of turning the ship around. I'm really excited to talk about this with you guys. There's a lot of stuff that we're going to get into, and if it does happen, I think this would easily be the best conference for E3. And I don't know if you guys feel the same way. For me, it's really cool that PlayStation and Microsoft have kind of taken these two separate avenues in terms of conferences. It seems like Sony's going further into we're going to focus on a specific set of games. We'll have some surprises, but it's more tight-knit 40 to an hour show. Whereas Xbox is like, we just want to hit you with a bunch of games. 2 hours, game. And I think that's good because they're not directly trying to compete with each other in terms of their presentation. And I think both of those fit their current status in terms of console sales and position in the market and stuff like that. So I guess we'll hop into it. Last year we started the show talking about Xbox One X, and I kind of wanted to lump in all of the services along with this. So they announced the Xbox One X, the name of it. We didn't know going in. We just knew it as Project Scorpio. With the Xbox One X this year, do you think we'll see it at all? I have a couple of ideas in terms of if we do see it, what it could be. We could potentially see a price cut. We could potentially see a color variation, maybe a white model. But do you think at any point in this conference, outside of these will look better on Xbox One X, do you think we'll see any updates to the console itself?
I don't think so. Definitely not.
No price cut, no color variation, nothing?
No, I think I feel like Microsoft is hardware-wise, they're going to wait till besides special edition stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like they're going to wait for any hardware stuff till the next gen. I feel like they're just going to maybe they'll in a month or two, I don't know. I feel like they might price drop it. I can't talk today. I'm sorry. They might price drop it, but I feel like that's not something they're gonna announce at the conference. Yeah. I think they're just there's gonna be a montage of Xbox on the Xbox, all the gaming on the Xbox One X. It's great. I feel like it's something like that.
It's worth asking though, Jared. It's a good question because the last few shows they've had something about hardware in somewhere, right? And then they had the controller, the design lab thing where they showed that off. So it's certainly something they like to do, whereas Sony hasn't really shown much of anything hardware-wise.
Actually, you know what? They might do that adaptive controller. Maybe they show that off.
Oh, could be.
A good grace move of just showing it off more to the audiences because we know about it, but the general consumer doesn't. So, yeah, that's probably what it is. The color variation is interesting too. I couldn't see them going white because there's already enough confusion with the general consumer in terms of S and X. That if you have two models that are both white, I think one being black and one being white helps differentiate it even more. So the color variation, I think, outside of a special edition is probably unlikely too. The next thing, backwards compatibility.
I guess the one advantage of the PS4 Pro having the extra layer of meat is it looks different than the.
It's bigger, yeah. The meat in the middle of the sandwich, yeah, so weird.
That's one way to spin that.
It's just odd that they're both super powerful. One got bigger, and one got smaller. Very odd. Backwards compatibility. So this has obviously been a huge move for Xbox the last couple of years. They've been adding games nonstop. Last year we got the announcement of original OG Xbox games coming. Correct me if I'm wrong. Do you think we see anything outside of the X amount of titles are now available on Xbox backwards compatibility? I don't think there's much else, right, that they can unveil as a surprise because we already have OG Xbox games.
And we have a lot of the good ones too.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I feel like I think one of my predictions I made on the OK Beast podcast last week was I think we see at Ubisoft on their stage, I think we see Phil Spencer come out and be like the Splinter Cell games are now all backwards compatible or something like that. Like I feel like it's something small, something on the side. I don't think it's anything like, there's 20 more original Xbox games. I don't know. I don't think it's anything like that.
I think another possible thing is like, I guess we'll get into it later. Or get into it now, I guess. So Game Pass is the other big movement for them. They're Netflix of gaming, right? Provides good value. I think it's been smart for them too in terms of. I personally enjoyed Sea of Thieves. Obviously, it was content light. State of Decay 2, great game, ton of bug issues. I think those games also being available on Game Pass helped because people weren't making those huge financial investments. Obviously, some people did, don't get me wrong. But the people who used Game Pass to get them, even if they didn't like their experience, they lost out on $10, maybe, because there's also a lot of other games on Game Pass. So I think that Game Pass is really good for those games. Because they're not the big AAA games, right? They're these different titles that Microsoft seems to be exploring and experimenting with. We've heard rumors or ideas of them merging Xbox Live and Game Pass, not necessarily as a whole, but deals for people, right? If you buy this group package, you get X amount of dollars off. I want to know from you guys if that's possible. The other thing, you kind of mentioned them coming out on Ubisoft stage. I would be interested to see if there was some kind of partnership between EA Access and Game Pass, because obviously EA has their own kind of subscription service where you pay $5 a month or $20 a year, which by the year, because you're definitely getting ripped off otherwise. And you can play old games. They have the Vault. If you're subscribed to EA Access, you get to play games early, a lot of times a week early for the sports games and Battlefield and stuff like that. That could be a possible merger. But from you guys, we're going to see something about Game Pass. What do you guys think that is?
So I think you get that combo deal like you're talking about. I think that's an inevitability. We talked about that on a few weeks ago's show, right? But as far as like merging with like EA Access, that I think is less likely.
Not a merge, more of a partnership.
Yeah, well, I just think it's less likely just because if they behave anything like the TV streaming services do, they don't really like to merge. Instead, they like to separate and do their own thing, right? Shortly here, we're going to have Disney wants to do its own service, and they're going to, break away from Netflix and that partnership, right? And I think that would unfortunately probably be the more likely scenario where EA is going to want to keep its own service, and then, then probably eventually we're going to see like a Ubisoft stream, or a subscription service, and who knows? We're getting the Nintendo one. That might be a little different, but yeah, that's why I'm not as optimistic about any kind of partnership like that.
The weird thing too is that EA Access is only available on Xbox. They have Origin Access on PC. PlayStation doesn't have it. And from what I originally thought, it was that EA just had a partnership with Xbox, right? That's not actually the case. EA Access was pitched to PlayStation and they denied it. They didn't want it on their service.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
That actually ended up coming out. Yeah, because a lot of people were under the impression that it was just some weird deal with Microsoft because EA works really closely with Microsoft, but that wasn't the case. EA Access was pitched to PlayStation and they said no.
Okay, well that makes sense then to my point where like PlayStation's like, no, we want people to buy PlayStation Now on our thing, so you guys can get out of here with this stuff, right? Microsoft. So maybe that is a good sign that Microsoft was more willing to partner up right there.
Well, and EA doesn't have they have a lot of games, don't get me wrong, but they don't have the catalog that like everyone else can pull from, Like Disney has a giant vault of things. To make the comparison you had, I don't know if EA has. I don't even know if they're making a profit on it, but I don't know if they'd make more in the split with Microsoft, right? Like I wonder if in the long run they just make more money because more people on Game Pass than are on EA Access. I wonder how the numbers divide there. Who knows?
That's a good point.
Alex, do you have anything to say about Game Pass? What we expect to see?
I'm not sure. I don't know if I necessarily have an opinion on Game Pass. I do think it's likely we see. It'd be nice to see it rolled into gold.
Yeah.
At some sort of discount. I don't know. Like you could have gold, or you can have Game Pass, or you can have them both for a discounted price. I'd like to see that. That would make it more appealing to me, so I'm not paying for two services on Xbox.
Do you think we see another tier maybe? Like what if it's like Xbox Platinum or something and it's specifically stated that you're getting Game Pass and the gold features, right? To differentiate it, they have another name for it because there's Silver, which is the free version, Xbox Live Silver, then there's Xbox Live Gold. Maybe we have a tier above that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Xbox Live
Diamond or Platinum or something.
Diamond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, just an idea. Who knows? But I do think Game Pass is very interesting. I think it's a brilliant service. For somebody who didn't have a lot of expendable income growing up, I would have loved to have this as a kid if there was the internet infrastructure, obviously.
Oh, man.
But like paying $10 to have access to all these games for kids who can afford $10 a month mowing the lawn or doing side work, that it's a huge benefit, man. I really wish this was around when I was a kid. I think it's huge. My big thing
That's
is
a cool thing to.
Sorry,
that's a cool thing to think of because, like, yeah, I was like you as a kid, right? Where like you only get 1 or 2 games like a year, and you kind of play those games to absolute completion, right? Like over and over, you're going in every last corner and so on. And so nowadays, I'm almost kind of like, while we're better off, we have more options and we can play more. It's almost like I kind of miss being forced to suck every last drop out of a game in a way, right? It's like a nostalgic thing.
We didn't even really have open world games when we were young too, and those those give you so much time. Like if I had Assassin's Creed Origins when I was a kid, it's like hundreds of hours.
Right.
Yeah.
Game Pass I think is huge. I want to see how it affects the rest of the market, how PlayStation responds with PS Now and stuff like that. They haven't really responded to the backwards compatibility stuff, obviously, because they don't have to directly compete. They're in the lead by a lot. But I want to see what this does to the rest of the industry in terms of subscription services, and we'll see how that plays out. Next up, I don't know about you, Alex. I don't want to speak for you, but none of us at Controlled Interest are huge racing fans. There aren't really our forte, but we can expect a Forza game every year. The cool thing with Microsoft is that their racing games have become the go-to racing franchises in video games, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Forza Horizon and Forza Motorsport they release every other year. They're huge. This year is going to be a Forza Horizon year. We had the weird Walmart leak that said Forza Horizon 5, which some people think is like a weird typo. Some people think that game is very weird. It kind of led to
that game definitely doesn't exist.
Yeah, it led to the questioning of the validity of that whole leak in general. We've had some confirmations in terms of Rage 2 and stuff, but still having Forza Horizon 5 on there is very weird. What I want to know from you guys is what setting do we expect? There's rumors of some kind of Asian theme. It's like Japan, Korea, Dubai. We're going to see it show off the Xbox One X, obviously. I just want to know from you guys, like, what would get you interested, in the very least, for a Forza Horizon game, the next one, and do we see another car on stage? Does that happen again 2 years in a row?
I think I would like to see Japan. I think it'd be super cool to like have like the more rural parts, you know, driving by waterfalls and stuff like that, or fishing villages, and then be able to drive into Shibuya in the middle of Shibuya. You know, I think it'd be super cool if that was the setting. Especially get in like a super neon light like segments where it's like super awesome to look at. I think Tokyo and Japan in general would provide a lot of variety in environments. So that'd be a setting that I would want to see.
That sounds pretty cool. I can't speak too much to this game, you know, these Forza games, but if I had to make some kind of analytical guess, I guess, something where the setting is kind of like drastically different. Because if these games come out every year, or technically every other year, because they're different games on that level, but I think that, you know, to keep things fresh, you could expect a much different kind of setting, but just my 2 cents.
Yeah.
I feel like if it was somewhere like New York, you'd be like, okay, there's cities everywhere and some interstates. It's not very fun to look at.
And we've seen that a lot, right? A lot of racing games, I feel like, have been in the U.S. really overall.
The weirdest thing, I don't know if you guys remember this, last year when they showed off Forza Motorsport, was it 6? That's right?
7.
7.
Yeah.
Forza Motorsport 7, yeah. When they first started, people thought it was Assassin's Creed Origins. I don't know if you guys remember that, like, because it started with like dunes, and it was like a back shot of like a close to a character, and you're like, is this Assassin's Creed Origins or what is this? It was very weird. I don't know if they did that on purpose to like fake people out or whatever. It was very odd.
Yeah,
I would love Dubai, but like because we saw a lot of that desert stuff last year, it's probably a no-go. With the desert and all that stuff. I would love Japan, like you said. I would love like South Korea, like going through Seoul and stuff like that. Kind of the same vibes as Japan, obviously different, but throw on some like blaring K-pop while you're racing at like over 100 miles an hour. I mean,
that's awesome.
Next up, one of my favorite reveals last year, and I know this wasn't for a lot of people, was Metro Exodus. I love the Metro games. They're probably, in my opinion, some of the most underrated shooters in gaming. I loved Last Light. I love Metro 2033. Whenever somebody says like, "Oh, these games are on sale. The Redux are on sale. Should I buy them?" I'm like, immediately, yes, buy them. I was talking on the podcast a while back when this was announced, Alex, about how I really hope that Metro Exodus is for what Witcher 3 was to CD Projekt Red. And in that it's their coming out party, it's their most highly developed entry, and people fall in love with the series. I just think the game is so interesting.
Definitely what this is going to be.
Yeah, and the world is so interesting. I think that demo was really good. I think it captured what the world is.
It's badass.
The most interesting thing is Exodus. It's obviously you have the train that's with you, and it's kind of like your moving hub. Do you guys think that we see this again this year? Because it was delayed till 2019. Do we see that again this year? And if so, what does it showcase this time around?
I'm not a Metro guy
Okay.
at all. I've definitely played them, and I enjoyed it. I'm just not a raving fan. But I was so taken by the trailer for Exodus. I was in. And after it got delayed, I was really sad. But I feel like they come out. Maybe they show, because we got the bear. I can't remember. Did we get like other enemies besides the bear?
We got the rat dogs. We got the rat dogs.
Rat dogs, yeah. I feel like we see some sort of human, or even like a story trailer that kind of encapsulates more like what's going on with the Exodus, that kind of thing. And then I think we get a release date for like spring 2019 or something.
Well, there's also like this weird. So there's the weird mutated creatures, but there's like this also like weird sense of like weird. I said weird like 9 times, like alien mutated human kind of things going on too.
Yeah.
And one of the best parts of the Metro series is the human interaction in this post-apocalyptic environment. It's kind of like what sold people in Walking Dead early on, and why people fell in love with Walking Dead. And I think Metro has a lot of those too. I think the shooting in a lot of the first 2 Metro games is very solid. I think the story stuff doesn't necessarily hit on all accounts, and that's what I really hope they improve in this entry, is they make you care about those characters. For somebody like you said who play them isn't a dying fan, for you to see a trailer and be like, I want to know who that is, I want to know why they matter, I think it would be really cool. I really hope that this does well. I think delaying it, though we assume it's because of development purposes, it could be because they just don't want it to release this year. It needs to find its right release date. That's the one thing I'm worried about, is that they released it at the wrong time and it doesn't hit the market that it should hit. But yeah, I'm excited. I really loved what they showcased, because not only did it get somebody who's invested in the series like me excited, like you said, you aren't a huge fan of it, not that you dislike it or anything, but you were immediately in, you were interested. So
exactly,
it has a lot.
And I've only played like the early hours of 2033.
Okay.
So it definitely got me. Before the game comes out, I'm gonna go back and play the other 2. Like that's kind of how it got me. So
yeah. Anything to say about Metro, Don?
No, I mean, you guys kind of covered it all. Yeah, I'd say we probably see some more story stuff in whatever trailer gets shown this year. But yeah, that last trailer from last year's show was unreal. Like, that was cool. Plus, it did that thing that I love, where it started out and you don't know. Like, we were kind of just talking about with Forza. We all thought it was Assassin's Creed Origins. For like the first, I feel like it's been a long time, but I feel like for the first minute or 2. Most people didn't know that was a Metro game through the trailer. And then if you knew the series, then you would start recognizing the enemies and stuff. But it did that cool thing where you didn't really truly realize what the game was till more towards the end, which is cool. So
yeah, there were some hints, like, so the meter, the air pressure meter on his arm, when they first show that when he's walking underneath,
right,
that's a tell to Metro fans. And then when he takes off his mask, his air compression mask. So there was subtle hints, but like you said, if you're not super familiar, you don't know what the hell it is. Let's talk about PUBG real quick. So people like to have the conversation of like Fortnite in terms of PUBG and stuff, and that's fine. That's a whole conversation for another day. I just want to talk about specifically, obviously, PUBG on Xbox's stage. We recently had the release of Miramar, which is the desert map. And I kind of want to... I was thinking that was... when I was making these cheat sheets, I was thinking maybe that was going to be the announcement for E3. Obviously, we got it beforehand. So I want to know, PUBG is going to be on Microsoft's stage, 100%, almost guaranteed.
Yeah.
I just want to speculate as to what we think it's going to be. There's a couple of things. We could have the 1.0 Xbox release, right? So we can have the official release of PUBG coming out of early access. We can have the gun skins that have been released on PC, which are really interesting and gives a little bit more variety and customization to the game. Obviously, there's a whole argument and conversation about microtransactions and how they implement them. Sanhok is the new map on PC, the smaller map, the one that they actually developed to compete with Fortnite for people who like quicker games. That would be nice if they maybe had a tease for that on Xbox. But one thing I want to say is in the current environment we have where people like to bash on PUBG and everyone's in love with Fortnite, deservedly so, great. The PUBG development team on Xbox, I think, has done a fantastic job of constantly updating. The game has issues. It's not perfect. Don't get me wrong. It has a lot of issues. But even a couple of weeks ago, they released a message to the community talking about, like, here are all the issues we're working on. The update's coming out soon. Like, they're constantly in communication about this game. We've seen an update almost every month since this game's released. And I know people can complain and say, like, hey, it's still not perfect. It's still not working. Well, it's still an early access game, and you have to know what you're buying into.
Yeah.
If this was a 1.0 release, I think it'd be different. But, yeah, I want to know, what do you expect for us to see? My likeliest thing is that we see the Xbox 1.0 release.
I think I'm a big PUBG fan, and I think that I feel like PUBG still doesn't run well enough for them to. I don't see the 1.0 coming soon.
No, not coming soon. Just like we're planning on it. I guess I misspoke. There.
Oh, okay.
Like the Xbox release, we're looking forward to the full release. Not that they're like, oh, it's coming next month. Yeah, sorry.
Okay. I think we get... So, in the PUBG roadmap they released at the beginning of the year, they had Sanhok on there, and then there was another map that they barely mentioned, but they were saying, and after Sanhok is done, we've got another map planned. I could almost see... Sanhok's been... it's been being tested, like, very extensively, and it's come a long way. I feel like we almost get maybe a... Sanhok's coming out on PC... Go to the PC game show for more on that, but also, and then maybe they do like a teaser for like, maybe it's like a PUBG, like a in-studio documentary, like talking about the game so far, and then maybe they show off like the next map. It's not going to be anywhere near complete, but maybe like, I don't know, and maybe it ties into the PC game show somehow. Like maybe there's an announcement at Xbox, and then at the PC game show they dive in deeper. I don't know. I feel like that's because there's that second map that was supposed to come out latter half of 2018, I think.
Yeah.
I feel like that gets, whether it's at Xbox or PC Game Show, I'm thinking it's Xbox, or could be. I feel like that gets shown in some way, that fourth map.
I would love something very Xbox specific, like if they do release skins, like an Xbox skin or like something inspired by Halo or Gears or something. I would love that stuff.
That'd be cool.
My very outlandish thing that I would love to happen that I wouldn't see happening in a million years is that if a non-mounted, just a regular warthog would spawn on the map as like one of the vehicles.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
We'll never see that happening, but that'd be interesting. It's like you said, it doesn't run as well as it should. So the 1.0 release doesn't make sense anytime soon. But I do think we're all in agreement that PUBG is going to be on the stage. Like there's some people that think it won't be. The deal that they brokered.
It's a huge game for them.
Exactly. Yeah. There's not a world where that game does not appear on stage at all. Like it's crazy to think that.
It's the only game that you can only play it on the Xbox if you don't have a PC. Like that's a huge exclusive to have.
Exactly.
Especially the way Fortnite is starting to overshadow it somewhat. This is the biggest chance, the biggest stage they'll be able to get on to put some more energy and remind everyone like, oh yeah, PUBG's out here still, guys, and it's still really cool.
It's a shame too. I vastly prefer PUBG over Fortnite.
Oh, you're in the right camp.
They're both shit, but yeah.
You're in the right camp with me. I've gone on talking about how Fortnite just doesn't have good gunplay to me. I just don't think it's very good
at all. Not that PUBG has great gunplay either.
No,
it just
Yeah, we can go. That's a whole other conversation for another day. But I'm definitely with you. I'm in the PUBG over Fortnite camp. It's funny that like obviously PUBG's losing players on PC, but it still has over 1.5 million players. Like it's not like in trouble by any means. And there's the whole conversation that like how much of Fortnite's success is tied to it just being free. Like word of mouth marketing and
A
it
lot.
being free is very easy purchase in terms of not having to pay $30. People are like, oh, it came out of nowhere. No, it's built in a game that was being developed for over 7 years from a studio that owns the engine they're working on. Like, it shouldn't be a surprise, you know? Anyways,
Yeah.
I want to get into other stuff because that's a whole other conversation. Just
And it's kind of weird how the original game didn't even take off, which I think is a shame.
yeah.
It's like this weird mode that was like almost seemed like it was an afterthought at first. Like they're obviously going for PUBG, and then now it's the biggest mode. It's weird.
Well, it's funny.
that
It killed Fortnite.
Dev cycle is crazy.
Fortnite Battle Royale killed Fortnite normal, and it killed Paragon.
Yeah.
It killed both of those games.
Yeah.
Because they just wanted to focus on that. Anyways, let's talk about Minecraft, another game that is definitely going to show up on Microsoft's stage. We already know about crossplay with Nintendo. This would be a really cool position for, like, Miyamoto was on Ubisoft stage last year. I would love if, like, Miyamoto came out and, like, announced, like, some special thing for Minecraft on Nintendo Switch. I would just love to see Miyamoto on Microsoft stage. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would happen. It's tough to wonder about what Minecraft's going to show. We already know the HD res pack. We already know a bunch of stuff. They could possibly do like mod support. One thing I want to touch on is a lot of these podcasts I listen to, I often hear them talk about when are we going to see Minecraft 2? No offense to those people, but I just don't think they understand what Minecraft is.
Yeah.
It's a game. It's a living game that's going to constantly be updated on. They recently added like seahorses and mermaids and stuff. I just don't that game itself has so many purchases underneath it that it wouldn't make sense to make a Minecraft 2.
Yeah.
You want to monetize it more. You want to make more skins and stuff you can purchase and all of that.
And if they ever want more tools, they can easily just patch it into the current game. Like, there's no reason for a sequel.
Exactly. I don't think we will ever see a Minecraft sequel. I think the next game from Mojang would be something else if they ever make a new game. Is there anything interesting we could see from Minecraft, do you guys think? I think the most interesting, like I said, is the Miyamoto thing possibly, tying to Switch, but it's tough to wonder what is going to be shown.
Minecraft Battle Royale.
But they kind of have that. They kind of have like that weird game mode.
Do they? I haven't
It's-
kept up with Minecraft.
It's not very good. It's not like polished or anything. It's like this weird, like, some user made it, let's put it into the actual game kind of thing.
Oh, wait. I think I have played that, actually.
It's not really Battle Royale. It's like you spawn in like the
You get
actual
the chests or whatever.
Yeah, the actual Battle Royale is a mod for PC, but the one that they released officially for Minecraft is not so much that. You don't start on the stones and
Yeah.
like it's very weird. Yeah.
Interesting.
So we'll see Minecraft. What it happens to be, who knows? Maybe they'll show the Minecraft movie that's been in development. Maybe that'll be the thing. That was being directed by one of the actors from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which is weird.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Which
very
one?
odd. Mac. I was stressing for his name. I haven't watched Sunny in a while.
Yeah, not Glenn Howerton, but the
No.
other guy. I can't remember
Yeah.
his name. Sure.
Anyways, let's move on to... So, Phil Spencer talked about on Twitter that somebody was asking, I love Xbox, but are you guys going to have JRPGs at your conferences here? And Phil Spencer replied and he said, as of the moment, we have JRPGs in our conference. What that is, he didn't specify. I have a couple of things I want to talk about of what that could possibly be, as well as other Japanese games possibly making it over in terms of ports. Code Vein is coming from Bandai Namco. It's the anime Souls-inspired game. That's something we could possibly see. People have liked to mention Nier Automata port. That game was very successful on Sony's console last year. Yakuza is very interesting as well. That can make the jump. There's a lot of other things. What do you guys think is the most likely scenario for like JRPGs or Japanese games on Xbox's stage?
Maybe From Software, because they're working on a game, right? And technically that's Japanese.
Yeah.
I guess we probably need to have the discussion about what a JRPG is, right? Is it a style or is it a location?
Yeah, that's why
but
I
anyway.
included JRPGs and Japanese games. Because it's like
I see.
both. So it's like, yeah, it's tough. What exactly? Because there are Japanese games that are RPGs, but people don't consider them quote unquote JRPGs.
Right.
I don't know. It's very weird. Yeah, I don't know.
I think we could see something on... Maybe it's even just like backwards compatibility. Some old JRPGs are coming to Xbox Game Pass or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Blue Dragon.
It could be
or
anything.
Something. Or...
we know it's not a Tales game because I don't think they'd make that much of a hullabaloo about a new Tales entry on Xbox. I would love to see From Software. We'll get into that later. I think that's in the rapid fire, but man, if From Software is on Xbox's stage, I would love that so much.
Dude, what if it's just like Persona 5 on Xbox? Like,
well,
why not?
It's
If,
Atlas,
like, they're
right? Atlas is third party.
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
I would
believe
love
so, but
Persona
they just
5,
like
but I think that's the least likely. I would love it. I would love to be able to play Persona 5.
oh, super unlikely. And I would bet whatever deal they have with Sony would prevent it, but you never know. I mean, maybe some of that stuff like we just assume there's like a tight exclusivity deal, but like maybe it wouldn't take that much. And I don't know. That would just be interesting. That would be like the curveball, right? I don't know.
Yeah. Let's talk about Sea of Thieves. Obviously, I mentioned earlier that it was content light at launch. I enjoyed the game. I think the systems in the game are really cool. I just think they need more stuff in that
I
world
agree.
to do. I think the game runs well. I think it's beautiful. It's just there's not a lot of meat on the bone, but the bone is really, really good.
Yeah.
So they recently released the I forgot the actual name of the update, but it features the Megalodon, Hungering Deep. They've recently released Hungering Deep, which added the Megalodon and a few other things, which is really cool. New, obviously, AI in the game. We know that they have done a really good roadmap. Rare has done a really good job that when this game released and they felt that the feedback was warranted and the criticism was warranted, they're like, okay, you guys are worried. We're going to give you a roadmap for our content. And they roadmapped that there's going to be, I think, 6 to 8 DLCs this year, content updates, and they've named like 4 of them. What I assume is we're going to see the next one, which is Cursed Sails. And from what I've read, it seems like they may introduce ghost like pirate boats. So like you can run into NPC boats that are ghosts and stuff. Because obviously when you die, you go into the ghost world.
Yeah.
That would be really cool, man. To be able to run into like a ghost ship at night in like a storm. That'd be really interesting.
You know, what could be a really cool piece of equipment that you get is like some sort of medallion or something where you can switch between the ghost world and the living world, and maybe there's like loot and stuff that's really unique to the ghost world.
Yeah,
because they tease like you said, you're on the ship. There's like clearly like something you could do there. I don't know.
Man, that's
an idea. It'd be cool.
Like even like the Megalodon is actually like more of just like a skeleton shark in the ghost world. That'd be dope. It'd be really interesting.
And maybe it's like hardcore mode or something. I don't know. Like you flip over and everything's way harder. I don't know.
Yeah. The thing is, so I kind of like to put Sea of Thieves in the Destiny 2 bubble, but with Destiny 2, I'm very pessimistic in terms of how that game's going to get turned around. With Sea of Thieves, I'm very optimistic because I believe in Rare, and immediately they understood that people had issues with their game and they were working to fix it. Sea of Thieves wasn't worth $60 at launch. I played it through Game Pass, and I still play it through Game Pass ever so often. So like it's definitely worth it. I think in like a year, I think this game will be a completely different game than when it was at launch. And I think when it's more developed, I think Microsoft will push it even further at E3 and be like, this is Sea of Thieves now. With Sea of Thieves, I don't know if I'm going to play it a whole lot within the next year. Obviously, I'll dabble in it. But a year from now, I can't wait to see what that game becomes. I'm really excited. So
I totally agree.
Yeah. Let's get to this one. Crackdown 3. I've been talking on the podcast for a while, Alex, that I think that the reason this game has gone absent, obviously because it didn't show out at E3, but I do think it was the Terry Crews delay. When they showcased him last year, he's a side character, right? He wasn't in the main. He wasn't the main character, but people got attached to Terry Crews because that's just who he is. He can sell a video game. He can sell that character. One of the biggest issues with Crackdown, world's great, world's huge, you can destroy stuff. They do read as kind of bland to the general consumer. There's not a lot of personality there in terms of individual characters. And I think that they saw that people attached to Terry Crews. And I really believe that part of this delay, not the whole part, but part of this delay was to inject more of him into the game. And I do think in the single player mode, I think he's going to be a heavier part than what he was before. And I think they realized that how much people got attached to him. That's just my theory. I don't know.
Crackdown 1 is one of my favorite games of all time. So I'm very much waiting for Crackdown 3 to release. I want them to take their time. I want it to be fun. This game was unveiled in 2014, I think.
Yeah.
So we're going on 4 years ago. It's time to release it. There's rumors of a new delay. I don't know. I don't know what I think because I want it to take the most time. I want it to be great. but I don't know. I feel like they could just come out and be like, it's coming out September, whatever. Here's Terry Crews. Here's this. Regardless, I'm excited. I feel like the trailer at last year's E3 wasn't that great, but I heard from journalists who'd gotten their hands on the game that it was actually really fun and felt a lot like Crackdown 1. So I'm hoping they can like polish up the things that weren't that great. Maybe make it, I don't know. You can do all sorts of stuff to make it maybe pop a little more.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what has taken so long. But yeah, I think it's obviously going to be there. Maybe Terry Crews comes out on stage. I don't know. Like meet the new protagonist. We introduced him last year. Here's the new protagonist, or that kind of thing. I don't know.
Like that's the thing is he was a side character. I wonder if he became the main character right through this delay and stuff.
It's weird because Crackdown has always been you got to choose your character, and they evolved into different looks based on who you chose at the beginning, what powers you got, stuff like that. So Crackdown being a single protagonist would be interesting. Maybe he's like the boss man now. I don't know.
Yeah. Dom, what were you gonna say? Sorry.
No, Alex, I share your hesitation kind of with this. It just seems like something just seems a little off.
Yeah.
There was like a weird rumor that got debunked about like, well, Walmart was canceling pre-orders or something along those lines.
Amazon. It was Amazon. Yeah.
Amazon, yeah. But I think one of the Microsoft guys said, no, that was just basically cleared it up and reassured people that it wasn't canceled like some people thought based on that. But nonetheless, there's a bad feeling I have about this. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't be entirely surprised if there was another delay into 2019. I don't know. I could see this not being shown at all at E3. I could just see that happening. I just have a bad feeling. No like evidence or anything, but
if it's shown at E3, it's gonna come out. If it's not shown, we'll hear about a delay in the coming months.
Right.
I don't think it'll be shown and it'll be delayed. I think Microsoft is not going to do that again. Mm-hmm. It's interesting.
They don't want with all the eyes on them. They don't want that delay.
Honestly,
out there, like it makes them look inconsistent.
I could even see them like during one of their Inside Xbox shows that they do every month. Like I could even honestly see them announcing the release date then, like later in the year at some point, being like, "Here's Crackdown 3. We're going to tell you more about it." At this point, I wonder if Microsoft feels that showing it at E3 doesn't buy them any added favor, and maybe it serves them more to just put it at one of those shows at the Inside Xbox. Because like, unless it's really going to wow, how much will this impress people at E3, Like, not that Crackdown 3 won't be good.
Yeah, but if they don't show it, then the rumor mill spins back up, saying the game's in trouble, it might be canceled. Like, I feel like they have to show it.
Well, what if they say, like, what if they, during, like, something during E3, they're like, we have more to reveal about Crackdown 3 later this year, kind of getting ahead of the message. Like, it's not going to be at our conference, but, like, you'll hear more about it this year. It's in a tough situation. Yeah. I hope that if they do show it, maybe they do the multiplayer beta still.
I think they do that. I think they say that's coming this September. They don't say anything about the full release, just about the beta. And then maybe they release later on, like in around that time. Okay, it's coming out February. I don't know.
I would love if this was a Game Pass exclusive. Honestly, I think that'd be a ballsy move. Of like, pay $10, play this game. We're not asking you to spend $60. Just it's available. It's a Game Pass exclusive. I don't know how well that'd go over, but it'd be a very interesting move. Who knows? I want to see more Terry Crews. I want to see more Crackdown 3. Hopefully, we see that. ID at Xbox is huge for Xbox. This is one of the things that I've kind of harped on PlayStation the last couple of years, is that they love indies, but they show them in the pre-show. They don't show indies during their main show anymore, which sucks because PlayStation has a lot of really good indies. It's not like they don't have any. It's just really unfortunate. Yeah, I don't. It's tough. I think the only kind of indie-ish game we've seen from them was Concrete Genie, which was at Paris Games Week. And that game looks interesting. That game will probably get relegated to the pre-show for them. But for Xbox, we have a lot of games that we have some that are not on this list that we'll talk about later that are indie games, but they're not specifically like ID at Xbox. So first off, we have Ooblets, which is the very cute, artistic Pokemon-style game. I don't know if you guys remember it from last year's show.
Yeah, I've been following this game pretty closely.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I hope we get a release date for it. Graveyard Keeper is an indie game that's essentially, I was going to say Starfield, different publisher. What's the name of the Stardew Valley? God, the name escaped me. It's essentially Stardew Valley, but you're a gravekeeper. Really interesting. I would love to see that featured on ID at Xbox's stage. It's coming to ID at Xbox, but I wonder if they'll show a release date. Unruly Heroes, if you guys aren't familiar with that, it's a lot of ex-Rayman devs, and it has the art style of Rayman Legends. Obviously, it's different characters for trademark purposes, but it looks like it's in that same art style as Rayman Legends. We have Spelunky 2, which, if you're not familiar, Alex, Spelunky is one of my favorite games of all time. Absolutely love Spelunky.
I just bought Spelunky 1 on my Vita like a week ago.
Oh, God. I love that game so much. I can go on and on and on. The sequel being about the daughter and the dad potentially passed away. We're not sure he's missing. It seems like they're alluding to, instead of it taking place in mines, it's taking place in the air or something. Very interesting.
Yeah, that'd be super cool.
Derek Yu, who's a developer of Spelunky, is a very smart individual. So I'm excited to see what he brings to the table for Spelunky 2, because he definitely seems like the type of guy that maybe like Neil Druckmann and them with Last of Us is, he's not going to do a sequel unless he sees a point to, you know? He doesn't care about getting more money or whatever. He felt that was contained, and he talked about there would probably never be a Spelunky 2. So there has to be something interesting there, that why he decided to go along with
what
the
if
sequel.
Instead of the final level being hell, it's heaven? And
yeah, because of the sky and stuff like
Dead.
that. Yeah, it's very interesting. Kind of twists on its head. I'm excited. I just want to see more of it. It was at the PlayStation pre-show last year, and you know, Spelunky was on Xbox, obviously, so I wonder if they'd pull that over and showcase it on their stage, because I doubt that'd be on PlayStation's main stage, probably on the pre-show like usual. But next up, one of my favorite games that I haven't finished because I want to see the ports, Hollow Knight. I played about 5 or 6 hours of Hollow Knight. Absolutely love it. It's one of my, I've only played 5 or 6 hours, and it's definitely in competition for some of my favorite games of all time. I love the art style, the quality of gameplay, everything about it. I stopped playing it, Alex, the moment I heard it's coming to Switch and other platforms.
Switch.
Yeah.
What
if we don't see it on Xbox's stage, that's fine. I just want a release date for this game. I think it's really unfortunate that it's been, I hate to say stuck. There's plenty of players on PC. But I do think when this game launches on Switch, and if it eventually launches on Xbox, people will fall in love with this game, and it'll get the recognition it deserves. It was one of the best games of last year that didn't get talked about, just because it was relegated to PC. I'm really excited for this game. Will it get an Xbox port? Maybe. It's just one of those indies that I would love to see on ID Xbox. And, you know, rounding it out here, we have The Messenger, which is the 8-bit/16-bit samurai ninja game from Sabotage. We have Katana Zero, which is another samurai game from ASCII Soft, which looks really good. Has to deal with time manipulation. And then we also have Tunic, which is the Fox isometric game. I would love to see that.
Yeah.
It's been showcased for PlayStation, but it's not a PlayStation exclusive, obviously. So I would love to see it on Xbox's stage. Sorry I rambled. Are any of these games like jumping out at you like, that's the one I want to get a release date on Xbox?
Hollow Knight.
Tunic.
Hollow Knight, Tunic. Can you guys explain why, each of you?
Well, Hollow Knight, I mean, I didn't play any of it. I only saw a few clips, but it gets compared a lot to Dark Souls, right?
Yeah.
At least in that it's challenging. I have to look into it more because I'm going to start speaking ignorantly, but, you know, it's more challenging. Obviously, it's with a 2D, but, you know, kind of like a dark, I guess vibe to it. Maybe sort of a grim thing going on. But what I do remember, I think, is really cool because, like, it's all like bugs, right, Jared?
Yeah. It's really cool.
Yeah. That's what I think is like cool in the way looking at it. I'm like, this is cool, but I'm with you. Like, yeah, I could have grabbed this on PC. I think I've even seen it on sale once. But yeah, I'm just holding out for that Switch version, really, and then even cooler if it also got an Xbox date too. So
the fast travel are like these Beetle carriages. Like all the design aesthetic in the world in that game is so darn cool. But Alex, what about Tunic? Really interests you and want to see it on Xbox?
Yeah, I'm just a sucker for a really great isometric looking game, and so Tunic was right up my alley immediately as soon as I saw it. Just the way that the lighting they use, it's very much from a visual design perspective, like just incredible looking. And then you top that on top of put that on top of the really, from what I've heard, meaty combat, and it's pretty challenging from what I hear. So that's like right up my alley. It's essentially like, from what I hear, it's kind of like Zelda. And of course, you can't have a action game without throwing in some Dark Souls in there these days. Right. So from what I hear, it's Zelda cross Dark Souls Light. So I guess that just means it's a harder action game with a dodge roll. So that's really what I'm looking forward to quite a bit. That's probably top 5 for me.
Yeah.
As far as what I'm looking forward to.
I love that. That's the thing with indie games is like if you have a prominent art style that's unique and it's just well crafted, it stands out so well.
Yeah.
So we're going to pick up the pace a little bit because I want to get to the other things we want to talk about, and I don't want to go too long. So we have Ashen, which is like the weird. I'm going to say Dark Souls again.
I'm pumped for that.
No, that very much is supposed to be Dark Souls.
Yes. The Artful Escape, which if you guys remember is like the musically driven like 2D platformer with the guy like playing the guitar and like psychedelics and like going crazy. And then The Last Night, which is like the 8-bit Blade Runner type game.
Man, that one looked cool.
Yeah, I'm interested in all of these games. I think in terms of like ranking them, I think Last Night's number 1 for me, Ashen number 2, Artful Escape's number 3.
Yeah.
So Ashen was
That's where I'm at.
Ashen was actually meant to come out in spring of 2018, but it got pushed.
Yeah.
Do you guys think we get release dates for these games? All 3 of these games?
Probably Ashen.
Not Last Night.
Yeah,
that game didn't seem.
Yeah.
That seemed like they had
it was like a concept
slice and a trailer, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like we've got an art concept, we've got an art direction. Here you go. That game, I bet we don't see till 2020. It just seems so complicated. It just seems like anytime they would have to work or implement new things, I don't know. It seemed like it had a lot going on, and I don't think we see that in 2019 either.
Yeah.
But Ashen, I think we see. I could even see like a winter, like very early winter release, like maybe even the 2019, like January 2019. But I think we get that. I think we get a release date for that.
Nice.
So
Artful Escape is interesting too because that one ended. Remember when it said it's coming when it's damn ready, so maybe that one goes into hiatus too. That one out of the 3 is the loosest concept in terms of what that game specifically is. It seems like it's 2D. It seems like it's a platformer partially, but like there's hints of like a rhythm game in there.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see what exactly that game is. Next up, what is more likely, do you guys think, that we see on Xbox's stage, or both if you really believe that's the case? Do we see Life is Strange 2, or do we see Walking Dead the final season?
I feel like people don't care about Walking Dead at this point, do they?
Easy.
So let me. People weren't caring. You're definitely right about that, Alex. They were going on and on, Walking Dead. But once they announced that this was going to be Clementine's final thing, like the final wrap up of the story, it got everyone like super reinvigorated. It seems like
okay.
It seems like help me out. The other game that they confirmed that they're doing a sequel to, Wolf Among Us, got delayed. So it seems like they're like completely focusing on this, on Walking Dead, the final season. We had the recent announcement that they're actually moving to the help me out, the Ubisoft game engine. Name's escaping me.
UBR?
No, it's not UBR. Jesus, it's
Unity.
Unity. There you go. They're moving to Unity in terms of developing
like the
their
big
games.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. It's that in Unreal Engine. They're moving to Unity. People don't know if they're moving to Unity after this game or if they have moved to it. But simple enough to answer your question, Alex. Yes, people weren't caring about it, but the moment we heard this is the final season, wrapping up Clementine's story, everybody's like back in.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're partially right to think that. Yeah,
I never played those games.
Yeah.
So.
Interest was waning, especially when they had Javier be the main protagonist. People are like, ugh, I don't like this. That was the last season. And then I think Telltale saw that didn't work either. People want to play as Clementine. It's the whole reason people loved season 1. And they're like, well, it's a final season. And I think this is partially due because Telltale became overworked. We saw that with the layoffs, and they were mismanaged. I think this is them being like, we know you guys will always want Walking Dead from us. We're going to give you a final season you guys want. That being said, which do you guys think is more likely? Do we see Walking Dead the final season, or do we see Life is Strange 2?
I say Walking Dead.
Walking Dead?
Yeah.
Because I don't know what they've done. Because I made the prediction that Sony would have The Walking Dead on their stage, right? And that wasn't based on like, they have some kind of partnership or something. I just think Telltale wants to put this on someone's stage to get it shown, Sony or Microsoft. So
yeah,
because this is the final season. There was some fatigue on the series, and this would be a good way to continue to reinvigorate people.
Has season 2 been free on Xbox Gold yet?
Yes,
probably.
Yes, season 1 and season 2 have both been free. Yeah.
Okay.
There's so many Telltale games and they're often free, so I'm trying to go in my mind of like which ones have been free. Wolf Among Us season 1.
Yeah, I know season 1 was.
Yep.
Okay.
It's season 1 is very good. Alex, if you said you never played them, season 1 is really good. Season 2 I think is okay. It's good. Season 3 you can skip, and season 4 I'm excited for. Like I think you could easily play season 2 and then this new one, and you could skip season 3.
Yeah.
I don't think it adds a whole lot necessarily, in my opinion, anyways.
It's the weakest.
Yeah.
I think most would agree.
Yeah. Let's see here. We're running a little long, and I know some of us have to get going, so I don't want to go too long. Ori and the Will of the Wisps. We know this game's going to be beautiful.
Yes.
I loved Ori and the Blind Forest. Do we get another piano this year? I hope so. Oh, man.
I hope so.
Yeah. This game is so beautiful. I think it's one of the, we talk about underrated games. I think what it does for Metroidvanias and platformers is great. The game's gorgeous. Looks like a Pixar movie, if not better. And I think this is one of the coolest and strongest Xbox franchises that no one ever talks about. Though it's more of an indie-ish game, I think Ori and the Blind Forest holds up to other exclusives in terms of its just sheer quality. And I just don't think it gets talked about
I totally
enough.
agree.
Yeah. Man, that trailer showcasing how the first game was about Ori's loss, and this game seems like it's going to be about the owl friend's loss. Really hits home.
Yeah.
It's going to be emotional. It's going to have great music. I guess the only question I have for you guys is, does it release this year?
If Crackdown doesn't, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's one or the other.
Something's
It's one or the other.
Microsoft needs something. And I agree with you, Jared, that this although it's more of an indie type of game, it holds a lot of weight.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure I would bet it's more anticipated than Crackdown for a lot of people. I think this would be a big deal for Microsoft to get out this year, but hopefully it does.
Yeah. So Anthem was a big get for Microsoft last year, ended their show. It was funny because EA unveiled Anthem, and then they're like, here's a little tease. You'll see the actual game at Microsoft stage, which is a huge get. Everyone is excited for Anthem. It's a new BioWare IP. It will be first on EA stage. We already know that, thanks to them talking about EA Play and such. I want to know from you guys, what do you think Microsoft gets on their stage? I have the idea of, like, what if we see the tease at a raid boss, or just the raid in general, a raid, because we're going to see gameplay at EA. I hope they don't do the thing that they did with Battlefield a couple of years ago, if you guys remember, where we saw the Battlefield 4 trailer at EA, and we saw literally the same exact trailer on Microsoft stage.
Yeah, I remember that. It was terrible.
I hope that's not the case. I guess you weren't on our EA podcast. You didn't get to talk about Anthem. Are you guys excited for it? And what would Microsoft have to show on their stage to get you, like, pumped?
They have to literally show the words "Destiny Killer."
Jesus. Yeah.
No, I don't know. I think I just want to see it. I'm just curious. I'm excited. This is going to be one for me where they're going to probably pitch it as like, you can play this single player and it's just as good. But then after it comes out and you can ask everyone on the forums and they're like, yeah, you can play it by yourself, but it's way better with people, kind of like Destiny. So for me, I anticipate that to be the case, and so it's just not going to be my type of jam. But I think we got to see some boss action, or some enemies or something more about what the gameplay is going to be.
Yeah, maybe we even see like a hint at what multiplayer will look like outside of the co-op sphere.
Yeah, how that functions.
The two things that have me excited for this over, I like Destiny, obviously it has its issues, but what BioWare can bring to this kind of genre is very exciting to me because I love BioWare. And on top of that,
we got to see some story, right?
Yeah, and on top of that, I really like the fact that the classes are tied to your suit and not to a character. I love that you'll be able to have multiple suits that you can go in depending on what your vibe is for that day. I want to see the extent of customization. So say, for instance, Alex, me and you both have like the tank suit. I want to be able to differentiate, that's Alex's version of a tank suit. This is my version of a tank suit.
Give me some Armored Core customization options.
Yeah.
For my suits.
I
want to mount the rockets. I want to do that. I want to drag and drop. Colors, all of it.
If Battlefield 5 is any indication, I think that they pull back on microtransactions, and I think they do the same thing they did with Battlefield 5, where they're like, whoa, we'll have some stuff, but it's not loot boxes, it's not none of that stuff, especially with like the blowback on Destiny 2.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing that they need to sell and eventually prove is that they will have post-release content consistent and high quality, and that there's enough content in the base game to satiate the community. That's the biggest thing with these type of games is developers strongly underestimate how fast people can get through their game. I think the thing for Anthem is they need to make sure they don't do what Destiny did and pitch it as this 10-year experience where your character carries over and make all of these promises that logistically they just can't keep up with. But I am excited for Anthem. I love BioWare. I love sci-fi. There's rumors that what if Anthem was like the project name and it's actually Mass Effect something. That's not true. It is Anthem. They've done all of this stuff for marketing and stuff like that. They're not going to change the name.
That's a weird thing to latch onto. Okay.
So a couple of these next ones we can go quickly on. The Division 2. What I want to ask from you guys is, would Microsoft want the Division 2 and Anthem on the same stage? Maybe not Microsoft. Would Ubisoft and EA want the Division 2 and Anthem on the same stage? And if so, would we see both of them?
Nah, that's weird. That wouldn't happen, I don't think. Not on the same stage, I mean.
Yeah. Well, the Division 2 probably won't be on Sony stage, so maybe it's one of those things where Ubi just wants to unveil it themselves, right?
Yeah. It's also a 2-hour show, so maybe one of them's at the beginning, one of them's at the end.
Space it out, yeah.
Yeah, like that would feel less weird than back-to-back or even within the same 20 minutes of each other. Like if it was starts off with the Division 2, closes with Anthem again, like I could see that.
The crazy thing is Anthem releases March 2019 and Division is slated for that same time. So not only are the same game genre, they both are releasing like probably within a month of each other, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off if you were going to say anything else.
I was just going to say, I really hope with the Division 2 that we see more Dark Zone stuff, have that flesh out more, as well as, like, I thought the environment was really cool. It was just a little samey, you know, on some of the stuff. So I'd like to see more diverse activities, and then the Dark Zone have that fleshed out.
I think scale would be cool, showing that it's a bigger map, and vehicles. I think drivable vehicles would be cool to traverse the world. Interesting. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of stuff with the Division 2 that can definitely hook me. The Division as a franchise is close to us because the Division launched the week that we started the podcast, so it's pretty cool.
Oh, awesome!
Oh, yeah,
that's right. We talked about that.
So Battlefield 5, like I said earlier, I'm worried that we're going to see the trailer at EA and then we're going to see the same trailer at Microsoft. We know that Xbox has the marketing rights, which is we assumed. Do you think we see like the Battle Royale, or worst case, do we see the same trailer from EA?
I think we get a different trailer, maybe.
Yeah.
Or they did one of those like behind the scenes docs one year with Star Wars, I believe. Oh God,
yeah.
So maybe we see one of the here's how Battlefield 5 is made, you know, like
what if
Battlefield has been a franchise for years and people love it, and like that's the okay.
I wonder if maybe EA does the multiplayer and then the vignettes kind of trailer for the single player story stuff is Microsoft. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe the co-op mode too, because the co-op mode is returning. I just hope it's not the same trailer. That's my big worries because we've already seen that with Battlefield.
Well, you know you're gonna get what's it called? A custom console, right? I would bet.
As long as it's not brown. That Battlefield 4 one was ugly, in my opinion, anyways.
Yeah.
So Cyberpunk 2077 is the next game we're going to be talking about. It's the next third-party game that could potentially like appear on Xbox's stage. We have rumors. Yeah. We know that CD Projekt Red is going to be at E3. Microsoft has a really close partnership with CD Projekt Red. They showed off Gwent. They showed off Witcher 3. If Cyberpunk 2077 is at E3, I would bet $1 million that it's on Xbox's stage. Do we see Cyberpunk 2077 on Xbox's stage?
Yes.
Yes? Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. It has to go somewhere, so.
Yeah, I'm thinking probably not anything like gameplay. Probably like a cool cinematic kind of trailer or something like that. I don't know if they're showing gameplay yet. I just got a vibe.
Yeah.
This is another year or two away.
I think it's a year away. I think it's Fallout 2019. And I think they're going to do the cinematic trailer that worked out so well for Witcher 3. And I think next year's when we get here's the gameplay, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't
see
even
that.
be surprised if next year leading up to E3 we hear that like CD Projekt Red has like their own booth or has their own side thing during E3 to showcase more. But yeah, I think Cyberpunk, if it does show up at E3, I couldn't see it being on another stage other than Microsoft. Just that partnership between them has gone on for so long that it seems like it's the only right thing to do.
Yeah.
We have a couple of other things I want to talk about real quick. It's the 10th anniversary of Summer of Arcade. Does it return in 2018? That'd be a cool 10-year thing to bring back Summer of Arcade. And if it were to return, they have some titles. We talked about Ashen, Below. That game's disappeared from Cappy. Seems that game's close to release. So, the first question: do you think they'd celebrate 10 years of Summer of Arcade? And if so, could Below potentially be the headliner for that?
I think
I
no
think
across the
Summer
board.
of Arcade is dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it will never come back. But I do think Below, one of my predictions on the OKB's podcast was Below is out that day. They announce it, they show off, and it's out today. Because we've been waiting so long for it, I feel like that'd be a great just like drop, I think people would go crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that game looks
Cappy
so cool.
fans.
It looks so unique. And I think that's what got people interested in it is because it doesn't look like anything else. And people were sad when it disappeared. It actually disappeared.
Yeah, exactly.
It was showcased and then hasn't come out around the same time that Cuphead has. Kind of the same timeline, though Cuphead finally came out. Love that game. Leading to that, do you think Microsoft could announce that they acquired Studio MDHR? I think they're a very talented studio. They mortgaged their homes for Cuphead. This is an acquisition we hear in drones. Xbox doesn't have games. Xbox doesn't have studios. I think Studio MDHR would be a really cool acquisition. Do you think that's possible?
Yeah, but I don't know
Yeah.
that that's something they would talk about at the conference. I don't know.
Cuphead has so
Maybe
much
go
good
more like
grace. You don't think
maybe
they?
Cuphead DLC.
Yeah, maybe attach that though.
Because there was like some unused assets in the Steam folders, I think, or in the PC version.
Yeah.
There's a lot of unused assets, so maybe those come out as DLC. I don't know.
I could see. I don't think it'd be a sole announcement of them acquiring them, but I could see DLC. Also, we're officially an Xbox studio or something.
Okay,
Yeah.
that I
Yeah.
could see. That makes sense.
Yeah, they wouldn't come out and say we've been bought by Microsoft. Yay for big corporations. Yeah. So Certain Affinity is a studio that's been known to work on Halo Wars, a lot of different games. They've helped with the Halo Master Chief Collection.
Yeah.
Their last project was in 2016. We haven't heard from them since. What I want to know from you guys is, do we see them and what's most likely? Is it a remaster? Is it a new IP? Is it a Microsoft IP that's being brought up from the dead? They have 200 plus employees, and they also opened a second studio, so they have the manpower. I'm just wondering if maybe we see another Halo spin-off game, or maybe a different IP spin-off. Or maybe Microsoft trusts a Certain Affinity now that they were like, here's this IP we don't use, mess around with it. I just want to know from you guys, what do you think, if we saw Certain Affinity, what could we potentially see?
I could see a new IP. That wouldn't shock me. Something different, something new.
Yeah.
I don't think Halo Wars has the cachet that
No.
Microsoft wants it to have. So I feel like maybe it's better off brand new IP. It'd be dope to get something like similar to like the old Red Alert games or something like that. Not that it would be those games, but like something in that vein. I don't know.
Yeah, they're a talented
Something not Halo.
They're a talented studio, and I would love to have Microsoft. It's second party; they're not owned by Microsoft, but I would love for them to be like, "Hey, work with this, right?" And 2016 is 2 years ago, so they could, at the very least, have a cinematic trailer, right, or some kind of tease. It'd be really cool to see.
Yeah.
Like I said before, with E3, this is the time when you look at the studios that haven't released something in a while and start speculating, because those are the ones most likely to give you the surprises. Armature Studio, the Recore developers, their last release was in 2016. It was Recore. That game had a lot of good to it, but it had a lot of bad to it as well. It was a nice idea. It wasn't fully there wasn't a lot of resources put behind it. It seemed it was kind of just pushed out there. Do you think Armature Studio has possibly been working on Recore 2? Maybe Microsoft put more resources behind it and might impress us, or do you think maybe Recore is like a lost IP and they're like, Armature, we want to do something with you, but not that? I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think we see anything from them.
Yeah. Recore was such an interesting idea in terms of like the characters and stuff. It was a half-baked platformer at the very best, you know. But that world was interesting with like the robotic animals and them being controlled by these orbs and another female protagonist, which is really cool. It didn't hit, and yeah, they might be quiet until they figure out something. Yeah. That sucks though, because that was like the last like new IP that people got excited about outside of like Sea of Thieves, obviously, for Microsoft. So it sucked that it came out and it was like, but who knows? Creative Assembly seems like they're all in on Total War. They've been doing that nonstop. They have 500 plus employees, a lot of people. Do we see a partnership with them? Do they bring over what's the one that Microsoft owns? Is it Age of Empires? Is it Age of Empires? Yeah. Do we see Age of Empires get a port to console?
That's possible. I hadn't thought about that.
I would love like a Civilization Revolution, but for Age of Empires. I don't know if you guys played Civ Rev, but it was the Civilization, but made for like more of a console experience. I would love that for Age of Empires, where it's like
that'd be great. I love Age of Empires.
Not a straight port, something more for the console audience. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
This one is weird. The Scalebound trademark was renewed. That being said, companies renew trademarks all the time. It could mean diddly nothing. But there are rumors floating around that they announced the cancellation of Scalebound and kind of pulled it from Platinum and could potentially have another studio working on Scalebound. At least the assets. Maybe not the same game, obviously, but all the assets being used. Do you think there's a chance, whether that's 1%, 10%, 50%, that we see Scalebound? That's an IP that Microsoft owns. Do you think they'll double dip on it and get another studio to make something?
Yeah, that would. That's interesting because they would need to be careful with that because if they did do that, obviously you can't cancel it again.
It had to be a Fallout 3 thing. Fallout 4 thing, right? Where it's like announce release date. You have to give people that release date if you announce it.
Yeah, because you'd be kind of like you'd be towing a line, playing with fire if it took a long time to come out, or if it was shitty, that'd be bad too. That'd be
which hot take it could have been if Platinum was still developing it.
Right, of course.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing for me when it got canceled. People were like, I can't believe it got canceled. For me, it was like Xbox IP sucks. Platinum developing it. They're kind of hit or miss, man. I'm not a huge believer in Platinum personally. I think they have some good stuff. They have some bad stuff. But people thought it was automatically going to be great. Some of the demos we heard people playing was that Scalebound was kind of rough. We even heard the stories down that we talked about on the podcast where Microsoft was like, hey, you're not sticking to the timeline. We're putting in way more money into this. Like, we need to get this game out. And it just seems like it was a bad partnership all around. Who's explicitly guilty, we'll never know. But Microsoft has said more about Platinum than Platinum has said about Microsoft, so take that as you will. We've heard all of these rumors about Fable 4 / a new Fable from Playground Games. We've heard that they're developing an open world action RPG. People assume that it's Fable. They're tying it to that. I guess these are two separate questions for you guys. We know Playground Games is working on a game, right? The open world action RPG. Do we see Playground Games game this year? That's one question. The second question, is it Fable? People assume it is, but we don't have any confirmation. Is it Fable?
Yes and yes.
Okay. Clear as day.
I agree.
For me.
Yeah, I agree on both counts.
The good thing is that Playground Games is a European developer, and the thing that makes Fable is the British sense of humor.
Yeah, exactly.
I would love if a small part of Rare helped with the development of it, because that's one thing CFD has in its marketing and stuff, is it nails that Rare humor so good. Yeah, I've always loved Fable. I've never fallen out of Fable. I love Fable 2, Fable 3. I actually, funny story, Alex, I don't know if you know this, I played Fable Legends before it was canceled.
Really?
Yeah, I was in like the Xbox Insider beta program for it, and I played it.
Oh, wow.
And hot take, it was quite enjoyable. I had fun with it.
Really?
Yeah, it was. In my opinion, it was the highest quality in terms of polish that a Fallout Fable game's ever had. In terms of like the resolution of the game, the issue was the 4v1 multiplayer aspect and all that stuff. I can't really sell that on being great at all. But in terms of just sheer polish and quality of what the game was looking like, easily the best looking Fallout game, in my opinion, when I was playing it. So it was weird when it got canceled. And it's like, I played a game that's never coming out. On Xbox, so you can see all of your previous games. Every time I scroll through, Fable Legends, right there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's because I guess they don't remove that from the back end. Very weird. I would love
one day they will.
I would love to see new Fable. I'm of the mind that it might not even be called Fable 4. I could potentially seeing it be a reboot and possibly it being Fable subtitle.
Yeah.
I think Playground Games has the talent to make a game like this. People are like, they've never developed an open world action RPG. They've only done racing games. Those racing games are high quality. So if anything, it's going to hit the quality benchmark. And I don't think they're doing this on their own. I think Microsoft is helping them, and they probably know people that are helping with a lot of the other systems they're not familiar with. Because if Microsoft has them working on a Fable game, they're going to make sure they have a lot of resources available to them, right? So, yeah. I really want a new Fable game. I hope it is. Dom, I didn't hear your take on it. Are we seeing Playground Games game, and is it a Fable game?
Why don't I save that for the predictions?
Gotcha. Here's the interesting part of the conversation. Normally, this would be like a huge headliner for a conversation. I don't think there's a lot to say here, personally. But with Halo 6 and Gears of War 5, Gears of War 5 was part of the Walmart leak. Halo 6 has a 3-year release cadence, and people assume that it's going to be released again this year, which, it's happened every 3 years. Why wouldn't it happen again? That being said, Halo 5 had a lot of issues with the single-player campaign, a lot of blowback with no local couch co-op. Multiplayer is still going strong. I just want to know from you guys, like, how likely is it that we see Halo 6? How likely is it that we see Gears of War 5? It's tough. People think that they should be completely turned over in the way God of War was. I think that's being a little bit hyperbolic. I think Halo 5 sold pretty well. I think they need to fix the story, obviously. I think Gears of War was interesting from what I saw. I haven't played it yet, but I've heard all of your experiences with it, Dom. And I love Gears of War. I've played the first 3 in Judgment. I just want to know from you guys, like, your opinions and thoughts on, like, Halo 6 and Gears of War 5 going into the C3. Do we see them? Do we not? What do you expect from them? That kind of stuff.
Halo 6, absolutely, we see it. Gears of War 5, I want to say no, but there's been a lot of rumors that there's something this year is going to get shown about Gears of War. So I'm still going to say no, but it won't shock me if some of those rumors are true.
Yeah.
I feel like they're saving Halo 6. I was for sure Halo 6 was going to be here. Then I was thinking, we've been having a couple talks, me and Bless, and there's a lot of business, I guess, smarts about like maybe holding it for the new console as a launch title.
That's my thought, yeah.
I don't know if that's going to happen. But I think I think Halo is there in at least the form of a teaser.
Yep.
Like I think we see it somehow. Yeah.
A poncho.
And I don't know about Gears.
Poncho 2.0. Yeah. Another question for you guys. Obviously, Battle Royale is huge. If we see a Battle Royale from one of these franchises, which is more likely? I'd be more excited about Halo Battle Royale, but which one do you think, like, in a world where one of them exists, which one is most likely to exist?
Halo.
Yeah, definitely Halo.
Yeah.
There's so many items that they could bring back from Halo 3
yeah.
that could be used well in a Battle Royale game. Vehicles, like they have everything.
Yeah.
Gears is too limited in mobility. Like, yeah, we have the cover system, we have roadie running, but Halo is just so fluid. I feel like I could easily see like a bunch of Spartans dropping down on some giant map.
Well, it feeds so well into the gameplay loop of like getting customized gear of like the armor pieces and stuff, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that works with Halo. It's the same argument I have with Battlefield Battle Royale versus Call of Duty Battle Royale, is that Battlefield is set up way more to get into the Battle Royale and with their feet running already, because they know the map size, they know the high player count. There's a lot of stuff that goes towards a Battlefield game being a better Battle Royale than a Call of Duty. Whether that's the case or not upon release, who knows? But from the get-go, I think, like you said, I think Halo has a lot more going for it in terms of a Battle Royale. Some people think that it'll probably be a game mode if it's announced. I would love if it's just standalone. Like, I would love if it's just a standalone purchasable thing. And then maybe when Halo 6 comes out, it's part of the purchase. Like, $60 for Halo 6 also gets you Halo Battle Royale or whatever. it'd be really cool. Oh, hold on, let me preface that. It'd be cool if you pre-order Halo 6 and you got access to the Battle Royale. That'd be pretty interesting. But I've also thought about like Crackdown 3 having access to Halo 6 beta, because that always seems to be the case, or a Gears beta or something. But I could even see a world where we see teasers for both. People think that this is the year where Microsoft is just like, here's all of our cards, everything is not coming out, but you guys cry about games. Here's everything that's being worked on. Some of these are going dark, some of these are not, but here's everything, right? Kind of showing their whole hand. Not everything, obviously, like the Santa Monica studio, we don't know what they're doing. But I could easily see Gears of War 5 tease, Halo 6 tease. And they're like, oh, we saw Gears and Halo this year, you know? On top of whatever else, a Fable or whatever. Who knows? So real quick, before we get into predictions and rapid fire, new studio acquisitions, new IP acquisitions. I just have some questions for you guys. Do we see a new AAA IP from Microsoft, whether it's first or second party? Are we going to see the moves Microsoft said they were committed to making in terms of acquiring the pieces to take Xbox first party to the next level? Remember, Satya Nadella and Phil Spencer talked about how they both see Xbox as a huge branch of Microsoft, and they're going to be committing a lot of resources to making it better. And lastly, will we see the acquisition of a beloved dead or unused IP? That's a lot of questions.
Yes,
Whatever
yes.
you want to tackle first.
Just like all yes. I think we got to see a new IP, a AAA new IP from them. I don't know if it's ready, if it's this year, but I would like to think that it's been in the works. Because they could see that years ago, like, we don't have as many exclusives, high quality ones as Sony, and like Halo and Gears of War aren't performing as well as they have in the past. So I think there's something's been in the works, first party AAA wise, for them, and I would hope that this is the time we see that. One thing, and then some second party stuff. They've been doing better. They have PUBG, some deals with that and so on. But definitely, I think it's time we see some big new first party IP, which is the first step, in that promise of we're doing it right.
Yeah.
Give us some time here, but we're working on it.
Get Amy Hennig on stage, man. Get Amy Hennig up there. Say you're giving her free reign to make her own studio and make a game. Man, that woman has had such a hard time in game development. Give Amy Hennig a studio. That easy. Just here.
I mean, that would be I'm trying to think of a good sports analogy where like a basketball player who had played for one team for so long, and then their rival just signs him and it's a big deal, like, puts the hat on or whatever. Yeah. Trying to think who's done that I can't know. Like,
LeBron.
I mean,
yeah, like make a show of it, right?
In
like,
video games,
my talents to
Kojima to a certain extent, a couple years ago, to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alex, what about you? What do you think about all these acquisitions, new IP? Is it possible? Do we see it?
Yeah, I think we see all of this stuff. I think we're definitely getting new IP. I'm sure they're going to cash in on nostalgia some way by reviving an old IP. And yeah, I think we might see, Phil Spencer has talked about it on Twitter. He's talked about it at length before, wanting to get that single player side of Xbox down. And I think we see a lot of that.
Yeah.
Here.
That's my one thing with Playground Games and it being Fable, is I wonder if, because we heard Phil say he was super inspired by Horizon Zero Dawn, and I wonder if the Playground Games game isn't Fable, but it's a Horizon type open world kind of game. And what if that is Fable? That could be the case, right? Who knows? We'll see. So before we get into predictions, I have some rapid fire stuff. We have some rapid fire questions, but I also have rapid fire unused IP. Basically, I'm going to throw these at you guys. The first one is going to be back and forth. The second one's going to be back and forth. One thing I want to clarify, because I will be corrected on this, Quantum Break is owned by Xbox. Unlike the other Remedy exclusive Alan Wake, Quantum Break is a Xbox-owned IP. Just throwing that out there, because I know I'm going to get corrections saying that, no, Remedy made that, and they own their IP, not Quantum Break. So I'm going to start off with you, Alex, and I'm going to go back and forth between you two with these, and you just say yes or no if you think we'll see it this year, okay? Starting with you, Alex. Brute Force.
No.
Dom, Crimson Skies.
No.
Killer Instinct, Alex.
Yes.
Cameo.
I don't know what that is, but no.
Fusion Frenzy.
No.
Jet Force Gemini. Shout out to Bless.
No.
Grab by the Ghoulies.
No.
Phantom Dust.
Definitely not.
Quantum Break.
Yes.
Zoo Tycoon.
No.
Voodoo Vince.
No.
Mech Assault.
No.
Small Arms.
Yes.
Small Arms.
Yes.
Lost Odyssey.
No, man.
Banjo Kazooie.
Yes.
Perfect Dark.
Yes, I'll give this one a yes.
Blue Dragon.
No.
My boy Conquer.
Yeah, we'll say yeah for Conquer.
I love there for a long time. It was Dom keeps saying no, and Alex is the optimist. It's really funny.
Right.
Yeah, some interesting ones in there. I loved Zoo Tycoon that came out at launch for the Xbox One. I actually perfected that game. I got all the achievements in it. Very tedious. Wow. Not a proud perfection, but it is what it is. But yeah, those are all the IP for Microsoft that they haven't really been using, so I thought I'd throw those out there. Now, these are rapid fire questions for games that we could potentially see. And I'm going to ask these back and forth to you guys as well, starting with you, Alex. Mortal Kombat 11. Boone's been teasing this on Twitter. Do we see the announcement on Xbox's stage?
No.
Dom, Borderlands 3. We believe it's not going to be at E3. Pitchford has said so. Was 2K's delayed game this for sure, and we're not seeing it at E3?
Oh, shit. No, we're not going to see it.
Okay. Alex, where the hell is Darksiders 3? It's still planned for 2018. Is that viable? Do people care?
Yes. It's on the Xbox stage.
Okay. Dom, Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
No one will care.
Dom, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Is it same old, or is Square Enix unveiling it themselves? Do we not even see it at Xbox's stage?
Yeah, Square Enix will unveil it themselves.
Okay. Alex, Overkill's The Walking Dead. That's been in development forever. Is this game finally coming out? We have a 2018 release date. We haven't seen gameplay. Does the gameplay appear on Xbox's stage?
No.
Okay, Witchfire, Dom. I don't know if you remember Witchfire. It was a game that was teased and announced at the Game Awards. It's the Vanishing of Ethan Carter devs and Bulletstorm devs. It started off as like a walking sim, and then they pulled out a gun and started shooting people. Do we see that this year at Xbox?
No.
No. Alex, we touched on Remedy. Do we see P7? It's not a console exclusive, but do we see it on Xbox's stage?
Yeah.
Okay. Dom, In the Valley of the Gods. We recently knew that the developer got purchased by Steam. Is there a chance we even see this game at E3?
No.
Alex, Rocksteady. We know that Spider-Man's going to be on PlayStation stage. Companies are weird and don't like to intermingle. Does that mean we see Rocksteady's supposed Superman game at Xbox's stage?
Yes.
To that point, Dom, Square Enix's Avengers game. There's a huge Marvel zeitgeist right now. A lot of people think that Square Enix is having the event for Kingdom Hearts as well as Avengers. Do we see Avengers on Xbox's stage?
Definitely not.
Okay. Alex, From Software, we know that we have Shadow Die Twice. It's rumored that it's not Bloodborne 2. It's rumored that it's a non-exclusive. It's a third-party multi-platform release. Do we see it on Xbox's stage?
Yes.
Is it Tenchu?
That would be amazing. Yes.
Dom, Bethesda. Do we see a Bethesda game on Microsoft's show?
No.
Yeah, I'm with you. Lastly, Alex, we've seen Spider-Man. We know Square Enix has Marvel Avengers. Did Microsoft dip into that well and go to Marvel games and say, hey, we want to make an exclusive, we have a pitch? Do we see a Marvel exclusive for Xbox?
No.
Okay. That was rapid fire. We're going to get into predictions now. A lot of back and forth there. Interesting. I just want more superhero games in general. And I like that Marvel Games is dipping their toe in. It's weird that Rocksteady's been quiet. WB Montreal's been quiet. So hopefully we see some of that stuff soon in terms of superhero games. I'm pulling up my predictions here. I have to get up Jordan's because he's not here. So let me pop those up. Cool. Okay, here we go. So I'll start first. Then Dom will go. Then Alex. And then I'll say Jordan's. We each have 3 predictions. Okay. My first prediction. Microsoft unveils an exclusive that's AAA, but it was originally intended for multi-platform release. That meaning that it's a franchise that we assume is multi-platform, that's been multi-platform before, but Microsoft now has the exclusive rights. Think of like Splinter Cell, which we didn't even touch on. We talked so much about everything, we didn't even touch about Splinter Cell.
Yeah, wow.
If Splinter Cell is announced and is an exclusive, my prediction's right. You understand what I'm saying? So exclusive AAA that was originally intended for multi-platform. That's my first prediction. What about you, Dom?
I'm going to go, a new Fable game is announced. It's not Fable : something else, and it's not Fable 4. It's just Fable.
Okay. Would you go far enough to say it's Playground
specific.
Games? Is it Playground
Oh,
Games?
yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep, Playground, yep.
This doesn't have to be part of your prediction, but do you think it's a cinematic, a logo, gameplay?
I think like a gameplay trailer. Not like a demo, but definitely there'll be gameplay in the trailer.
Okay. Alex, what's your first prediction?
Mine is actually also the same thing. It's Fable RPG, Playground Games, 2019. I think the art style is gonna blow us away. It's gonna be filled with all sorts of like volumetric lighting. It's gonna wow people. And I do think we get a actual demo.
Ooh, nice. Is that this doesn't have to be part of your thing, but is it Phil Spencer demoing it, a dev demoing it? Like who exactly, or is it just like the video? We don't see who's playing it.
Phil Spencer is on stage with the person.
Okay, got it. Jordan's first prediction, he says that the show will open with the trailer for the new Splinter Cell. So cold open Splinter Cell up there. That'd be pretty interesting. My second prediction, I say that we see Cyberpunk 2077, and I think we're going to get a 2019 release window. And more specifically, I think it's going to be a 3-minute cinematic trailer. Do you guys remember that Witcher 3 one where like they're like hanging that guy at that tree, and then like the Witcher girl like pulls up to it? It's like very cinematic, like high quality.
Cuts him down.
Yeah. I think it's that style. It's like very high quality cinematics, and it's about 3 minutes and gives us a vibe for the world. That's my prediction, anyways. So we'll see if that happens. Dom, what's your second one?
I'm gonna say. I can make this specific enough. Halo 6. We're gonna see a trailer, a good long trailer, gameplay, lots of good stuff. 2019 release window is gonna be given, and they explicitly mention that you play only as Master Chief.
Okay, getting rid from the whole lock debacle, the lock debacle. Interesting. So 2019 release window?
Yes.
Okay.
Alex, I wanted to add a little bit of specificity and some of the details there.
Yeah. Alex, what's your second prediction?
Microsoft announces a brand new sci-fi IP that's not a part of any previous or existing Microsoft universes.
I like it.
Smash smacked. Jordan's second prediction here. Okay, this is funny. Sorry, I was reading it. He says Battlefield 5 trailer with there will be a Battlefield 5 trailer, and it'll have at least 85% of the footage from the same trailer shown at EA's conference. That's pretty funny. I hope that's not the case, but it's probably going to happen. My third and final one. I say Splinter Cell is unveiled. I know, shocker. I think that instead of everyone expects us to see the green like pulse that we're used to at Splinter Cell, I don't think that's the case. I think we start on a black screen. We hear Michael Ironside's sultry voice is the first thing we hear. We hear him talking. War never changes, something like that, some monologue.
Easy with the specific phrase there. But
no, I'm not saying specific phrase, but we're going to hear Michael Ironside's voice first, and then we're going to see Splinter Cell unveiled, and it's going to be clear that Xbox has the marketing, obviously, for the game. I don't think exclusive, but it'll have the marketing. So yeah, we hear Michael Ironside's voice introduce a Splinter Cell that's unveiled. Dom, what's your third one, your last one?
Oh man! All right, this is tough. I've been weighing through these. I'm gonna say
Peggle 3.
We get.
I'm just kidding.
No, we're gonna get a big trailer, big gameplay trailer for a huge Sea of Thieves expansion that's not been, nothing. It's new. They've not previously talked about it at all.
Okay.
New, I want to be specific, like it's gonna be like new, kind of like you guys talked about, like a totally new gameplay element is going to be introduced, right? Like you were saying, we're going to go into the ghost world or whatever it is, something like huge and kind of like really flips the game on its head and like does a lot more.
Not just an NPC added, like something substantial.
Right.
Yeah.
Not like new characters in a new area, but like a full ass new kind of like game mode almost, right? Like it's just a new way to play it, something like that. And then it's gonna they'll give a release window of the fall 2018.
Okay. Alex, what's your final prediction?
My final prediction is Bluehole is on stage, and they reveal that fourth map. And also say that the third map is coming to PUBG on Xbox.
You know what's funny? When you first said that, I heard Blue Point, so I was like, oh, I wonder what he thinks Blue Point's remastering for Xbox. And then you said Blue Hole, and I was like, oh no, yeah, PUBG devs. For me, I heard Blue Point.
Yeah.
Which that's a weird thing too. People think they're owned by PlayStation. They're not. I would love if they're developing like the Mass Effect remaster or something. Oh baby. The last Jordan prediction before we close out the show. He says that he has 3 left. I want to see which one's the most interesting. Okay, that one's not interesting. That one's not interesting. We'll go with this one. He says Below is shown and will have a release date revealed, which is not too spicy, but okay. His other ones were Phil Spencer wears an Xbox Live shirt, and the other one was Minecraft gets some dragons in that bitch. That's verbatim. That's what he wrote. Those are our predictions. If you can, Alex, please let people know where they can find you on the internet.
Yeah, you can find me over at okbeast.com. And youtube.com/okbeast. I host the OKBeast podcast that drops every Monday, and we also put up in-depth videos and opinion videos on the YouTube channel every Friday.
You recently released a video essay where it's like amateur Foley artist, essentially. You showed how they do sound effects in games, and you try to do one yourself. Like a punch kick kind of sound where you used, it was celery, it was chicken. What was the other thing?
Grapefruit.
Yep.
And then a piece of bread.
Really cool. Really like the editing.
And I turned that into a punch. It was fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Really cool. Definitely go check them out. They have a Patreon. They have a bunch of stuff. You know who Blessing is. Mm-hmm. Now you know who Alex is. He's been on a couple of podcasts. He'll be on more in the future. Thank you again for joining us for E3.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Super bummed Jordan wasn't able to be here, but that's the way it goes. We'll catch you guys next time. Please tune into the rest of our pre-E3 podcasts. And we'll catch you guys next time, post E3, when we're talking about all the announcements and all of the letdowns and all of the stuff. Catch you guys next time. Bye.